Hola, namaste, jambo, sawadika, ni hao, assalamu alaikum. My name is Joanna Dukipati, and I'm your host for today's prose and poetry gathering, Many Tongues of Cork. First of all, I hope you and your loved ones are keeping well. Please get comfortable and get ready to listen to 5 of the numerous languages spoken right here in our city. Today we have 6 Corkonians who will share their writing. Please leave kind comments about how you feel after listening to them. First, we have Letícia Picolo Pissarra, who is 16 years, moved to Cork from Brazil. Letícia shares a Portuguese poem written by her grandmother, Rosalin Picolo Coimbra, who enjoys writing poetry and shares it with the family over Zoom calls. After Letícia, we have Rosalin Blue, one of Cork's beloved poets presenting in German. But before you meet Letícia and Rosalin, please allow me to read an excerpt from the poem A Year Abroad by Ayla Gokten, published in the book A Journey Called Home, featuring 62 Cork-based writers in 20 languages with translations. Lying in bed, the sounds did touch me. The thick Cork accent, the Spanish, the Hindi, and Italian, especially the Turkish of my father's land, and the English of my fellow Americans, bemoaning our country's rift, Ford versus Kavanaugh, and whom to believe and what it meant.
Hello, I am Jo, and you are Letícia.
Picolo Pissarra.
Letícia Picolo Pissarra.
Yes.
So obviously, Letícia and I have not met in person. This is the first time we're actually even seeing each other. We know each other through the Cork Migrant Centre Youth Initiative, and it's a joy to have younger voices as part of Many Tongues of Cork. So Letícia is going to share a poem written by her grandmother, which is in Portuguese. Letícia, I think we'll go into the poem and then we'll have a little chat after.
Perfect.
Yes.
Ok, so, reflexo do amor. Meu amor por você é do tamanho do universo. É por isso que faço versos com saudade de você. Meu pensamento expande a todos ao meu redor. Sua luz faz brilhar em mim e eu distribuo a todos a alegria que sinto dentro de mim. Ah, se eu pudesse lhe contar tudo o que sinto. Já não estaria mais aqui. Seria uma borboleta voando em volta de ti. Com 1000 cores, distribuindo amores, com minhas asas batendo e contigo mexendo. Só para você olhar para mim. Yeah.
That is incredible. That is so sweet. My immediate question is, do you know how old your grandmother was when she wrote that poem?
So actually, with COVID and everything, she has had a lot of free time and she got inspired. So she started writing a bunch of poems. And
so now she's been writing now.
And this is recent.
And where is she? Where is she?
She's in Brazil right now. She's in this very small city, but it's still like affected by COVID, of course. So she has to stay quarantined. So most of the time, she has some inspiration. So she goes and she writes a bunch of pages with poems, and then she comes up to us. She calls us and she shares them all with us, and it's very good.
Oh, that's so. Is that a? Well, I don't know, because tell us your connection to Brazil. What is it? How strong is it? How do you feel about your home place?
So I think Brazil is like it's home for me. I can't name another place that makes me feel the way Brazil does. Since I moved here, I was fortunate enough to go back there a few times to visit everyone. And I was supposed to be there this summer, but it's okay. And it's since a big part of my family is there, it's still very, very strong connection all around, and with my nan, with my uncle, with my aunts, with my cousins, everyone, we're all very connected. So it's hard to keep the distance, but at least now we can talk like this, and we can at least share more and be more present in each other's lives, even if we're far away. Yeah.
Yes. So this implies that you have a very strong connection to your mother tongue,
Yeah.
and you're speaking, you speak it at home every day, all the time. So how does that affect your life here in Cork, speaking in Portuguese at home and then conversing with me in English?
So it's actually interesting. I was thinking about it these days, how it changes, how some people are a bit different in their own like mother tongue. And I think only if you know both of them, you'll be able to be like, yeah, maybe she's in Portuguese, she's a bit more quiet, or she's a bit more funny, whatever it is. Because especially with jokes and expressions, sometimes I think of a joke in Portuguese to say it, but it wouldn't make sense if I translated it in English. So I'm just like, oh, you wouldn't understand. But it's now I am used to English because I've been here a while. But still, I like when I have my kids and I want to talk in Portuguese with them, because for me, that's the language of love, you know? And that's something, that's why I chose this poem as well. I think it's a very nice poem that talks about love and, you know, all that it makes you feel. And I think my grandma did an amazing job doing it. So I thought it would be nice to honor her, you know?
How is it declared the language of love? Do you know why?
Sorry?
Do you know why it's declared the language of love?
I think it's just because since I was little, my mom only speaks Portuguese, my grandma only speaks Portuguese. So all the time that they would, you know, be hugging me, or those amazing moments, you know, it just reminds me of Portuguese and of Brazil and of her and everyone. That my dad, even over here, he speaks in Portuguese with me as well. So when like even with nicknames and everything over here in Ireland, I don't have like many nicknames. And there I have Lele, Lebi, Lele, Bodeguinha. It's just like a bunch of them. So it's different. And I think when I say I love you in Portuguese, eu te amo, it's something that is like, you know, I don't know how to explain it. I think it's, I like it anyway.
Yes. Yeah, there's obviously a very strong connection to your native tongue, and I have, even though my native tongue is English, I do have a strong connection to Hindi that is spoken in Bombay, where I'm from, and I have to proactively stay in touch with Hindi so that I don't fumble. I even fumble when I'm speaking in English. That could be because of what I'm getting old or something. I don't know, but. So then I try and watch as much of Hindi news, listen to old Hindi music, because, you know, I'm sure even in Portuguese, there's all different dialects, and there's also the quality of the language, right? So older Hindi music, older Hindi movies, and formal, high quality Hindi news reporters and who read the news, they have a certain higher quality of Hindi, whereas the Hindi that I speak is very spoken word, very rough and quite rude if somebody didn't understand, you know. So so that's how I'm going to sustain it, and I don't know if I have the capacity to share that joy with my son, but I love and admire that you're determined to stay close to Portuguese. Do you have a plan of how you're going to do that as you get older?
See, so like I don't know if I'm gonna go back to Brazil soon, because like when I'm just like kind of not comparing opportunities, but just seeing maybe what would be best for me and relates more to what I want, it probably is to like stay here. And then but maybe in the future, you never know, never say never, and I would love to go to Brazil and spend a while there anyway. But yeah, I think, oh Jesus, I get confused. Like when I'm older with my kids and stuff, I own like always I'm gonna keep talking Portuguese with my parents, because it's the easiest language to talk to, and that's how we communicate better. But I feel like, for example, my dad always says this: when I have a kid during summer, it's all my dad's. He's gonna get the kid, bring to Brazil, all around the beaches, and no English, just Portuguese. Make the little kid learn somehow, just learn it. And then, yeah, that's like something I hope to do as well, just kind of bring them to the family and just, because everyone will be speaking Portuguese then. And I feel like if you have the connection there, it's easier to learn too.
Yeah.
When it's like, there's body language, of course, and that helps a lot. But when it's joined with a tongue, I think it encourages you to try to understand the person,
Yes.
and it's someone you love and you want to understand them, so you're going to try your best. So I hope to, just kind of keep my kids really around the family, and then hopefully he'll have this interest as well for Portuguese, and we'll see.
Yeah. Also, maybe you could write your own prose and poetry in Portuguese.
Yeah, I don't know how much of a writer in Portuguese I am. To be honest, I'm preferring a bit to write in English since I'm doing school here.
Yeah.
And, but I'll definitely, get other poems. And I want to learn more about Brazilian, actually, literature, because it's so rich and there's so many masterpieces in it. And I didn't learn it because I left Brazil very early. I just learned some of them. But I hope to one day maybe, get more into that and just learn more about the culture and the history and all that.
Yes, you must. And hopefully next time you will be able to share something that you wrote, inspired after you've read, literature from your other home, which is São Paulo, isn't it? Yeah. Yes. So thank you so much, Letícia. Thank you so much for spending a few minutes and sharing your grandmother's poem. And muito obrigada to your grandmother.
I will send this to her. She's very excited. She even texted me yesterday being, "Oh, did you do it already?" So I will definitely show this to her. And thank you so much for giving this this opportunity to do this. This project is very, very nice, and I hope it encourages many other people to join in and get in contact with their other languages and just express themselves. So
Thank you
very much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Ciao.
Ciao.
Hope you enjoyed that. Stay tuned to listen to Rosalin Blue. And in the meantime, please be sure to leave us your comments and share this broadcast with people near and far who would enjoy listening to poetry and prose in a language different to theirs. Enjoy. Rosalin, how are you?
Hello, Joanna. So nice seeing you.
Yeah, I think at this stage, many Tongues of Cork would feel a bit bland if it wasn't, if we don't have you. So thank you.
Thank you so much. It's an honor being here for many Tongues of Cork again.
Yeah, I think we'll go straight in.
Okay, right. Thanks very much. I have chosen 2 poems for today. I am going to read one in relation to the fact that I am studying at the moment. And this was written way back when I was studying for my bachelor's, but the situation is basically the same. So, Geisteswissenschaft. Ich fühl mich wie ein Nachtgespenst, das durch die Tage wandert und bleich und dürr und klapprig ist und nur noch zagend handelt. Zwar schlaf ich nachts und wache tags, doch wachen heißt nicht leben. Ich sitze hier und frage mich, was mir die Worte geben. Es ist der Geist, der reich nur wird, der Leib wird bald vergehen. Ein Nachtgespenst, das klapprig ist, der Wind wird es zerwehen. So sitz ich tags und denke nach, des Nachts lieg ich im Bette wach. Und weil ich nicht mehr handeln kann, bleib ich am Stuhle kleben. I think a lot of people can relate to this when they study. or when they've gone through studies. The second poem I've chosen is it's about my grandparents' garden, and it's very seasonal. Excuse me. Der Garten meiner Großeltern. Ein reiches Tor ist jeder süße Pfirsich, zur Reise in die kostbarste Erinnerung, zu meiner Großeltern friedlichem Ort, in den geliebten Garten der Früchte. Ein Meer von Rosen, dicht und duftend, Millionen von samtenen Variationen zwischen Büschen und Bäumen, meines Großvaters eifrige Freude. Die sonnigen Sommer heiß und voll mit summenden Bienen und fleißiger Ernte. Wir sammeln uns um den beladenen Tisch, 10 Hände helfen mit der Marmelade. Johannisbeeren in allen Farben, Erd und Stachel, Himm und Bromm, Pflaumen gelb und blau und Kirschen süß und sauer, auch Äpfel, Birnen und Rhabarber. Und ganz hinten, tief im großen Garten, 2 kleine Pfirsichbäume, schon alt, täglich ein Pfirsich, sogar 3 oder 6. Oh, wie liebte ich den weichen Pelz, ihre Haut und das üppig gelbe Fleisch, so saftig. Nektar tropfte jeden Sommertag an meinen kleinen Klebefingern lang und weit in meine Jugendtage. Wie traurig war ich Jahre später, als ich weit weg gewesen war. Da fand ich sie gefällt und fort, meine Pfirsichbäume. Heute weckt mir süße Fülle jeder Pfirsich und die Erinnerung macht mich reich.
That's so lovely.
Thanks very much. Yeah,
Was there a reason why you wrote it?
Oh, sure, every peach triggers that memory. And I see the garden and I remember all the times with the grandparents and without of harvesting the fruit and understanding the luxury of it now as well, you know. Like I tend to also work kind of late into the night and so like you don't even get light, you don't get movement, you don't after a while you even forget to get up and eat. You even stop drinking water, maybe coffee, but not water. So yeah.
We consume all of this knowledge. You know, some people do it throughout their life, and for me that nudged me to think, what is the point of studying so much? Eventually, if I'm going to be leaving it all here, maybe that's why we talk a lot about legacy and, you know, sharing what we learned with other people. And
yeah, that's true. And actually, I realized that the older I get, you kind of start changing sides. You begin like giving more to other people. You have because you have more to give. You have experience to give. You have, you know, understanding to give, and yeah. So you kind of start passing that on, and teaching becomes something very natural. If you have a special area that you're knowledgeable in, then teaching just comes by nature because you're the older person. So
I want to ask you this question. If you could share a story about someone you love but with whom you disagree about something.
That's a difficult question. There's many things that I disagree with about many different aspects with my partner. And I still love him very deeply, obviously. Yeah, at the moment we are not talking politics. Because for myself, there's a couple of reasons. One, in recent years, politics, I think, have taken a turn for the more difficult because the terms left wing and right wing have been played with, and I think they're kind of almost flipping around. And where someone used to think of themselves as left wing politically, they now are looked at in a very different angle. And this is all kind of I think the latest American era, let's put it that way, without mentioning names. And so that topic has been very divisive. And again, it brings me back to my grandmother, because obviously my grandparents were in the time of the Nazis, and so I had to, so they had to deal with the reality. And my grandfather had become a lawyer. He'd made money working in the mines to finance his own studies, and he'd become a lawyer. As a lawyer up in the higher ranks, you know, you didn't have a chance to really say no. When the system asked you to do something, you had to do it. Otherwise, your family would also get done. And I'm very sure that my grandmother often disagreed politically. But she did not make that a topic because she did not want to let it become a wedge splitting the family. And that is at the moment my strategy as well. I'm sitting on the fence with a lot of opinions because I don't find them important enough to split opinions within the family too much, because we need to have one area where there's just love and peace. And so I'm trying to fare it that way. The other reason why I had to draw back from talking politics was my mental health. So to protect that, I had to kind of say, look, we have to stop talking about politics, because it wasn't very encouraging to, you know, to hear the whole political area.
You are so graceful, and you're vulnerable, you're strong, and you're the kind of role models women should have. We have. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is a role model right here.
I'm honored.
So thank you, Rosalin, for spending a few minutes here with me for Many Tongues of Cork.
Very welcome.
Yeah, and be well, and please look after yourself.
You too, yeah. And I hope to see you again very soon. Yes.
For real coffee.
For real coffee, yeah. Yes. In reality, not virtuality.
Yes. Thank you, and cheers.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank you so much for spending time with us, Letícia and Rosalin. It was so nice to listen to Portuguese and German. Coming up next, we've got Friday Junior Osemwekhae and Nelly Azzopardi. Stay tuned, and please, please, please let everybody know about this broadcast and share the link, and enjoy. This is the Many Tongues of Cork gathering, featuring 5 of the numerous languages spoken in Cork. I am your host, Joanna Dukipati, and this broadcast is created by Good Day Cork. Good Day Cork is a positive space, offering media and creating events like this one. The mission is to gather stories and to remind us that we're all connected. The vision is a kind world. If you are by any way comforted or moved by the work here, please make a donation through gooddaycork.com to keep it going. Now, we have Friday Junior Osemwekhae and Nelly Azzopardi. Friday has lived in Ireland for the majority of his life and found his voice through music, poetry, and public speaking. He's fluent in English, Pidgin English, Italian, with conversational Benny, and French. Nelly is an established Cork-based poet and explained that she finds inspiration in socially transmittable diseases such as broken hearts and solitude. Enjoy.
Tutta questa gente vogliono che io dico niente. 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 Ma tu sei una principessa, figura bella come strano amore. Sei il mio sole, hai il mio cuore, pure nella notte. Mi mandi baci baci notti, sì, da qui a domani, oggi e domani. Pensiamo dei nostri futuri, vedere begli panorami con i nostri bambini, dimenticare mostri passati, ma come i tuoi parenti non mi senti, sì la vita è come un gioco, uno deve allenarsi, se no ciao ciao scomparsi e diventiamo fantasmi, sì, segui le regole e ti chiamano benevole, se non li segui ti chiamano un diavolo e ti mangiano sul tavolo, furbi corrono come un cavallo, poi cadono sul ghiaccio, il mondo ti tira a calcio, così cominci un nuovo viaggio, senza fiducia puoi avere speranza, senza soldi puoi bere da quella tazza, senza colore puoi avere una razza, che è la differenza tra un pazzo e una pazza, sesso dice sei ragazzo o ragazza, educazione dall'intelligenza, ma che è la vera importanza, chiedi ogni giorno in stanza, sì, ti seguono, se ascolti ti menano, non li guardare o ti stregano, questo perché fuori pregano. Generalmente siamo tutti uguali, abbiamo lo stesso cervello, lo stesso cuore, gli stessi occhi, ma vediamo vite diverse, alcuni ricchi, alcuni poveri, alcuni intelligenti, alcuni stupidi, ma la mia domanda è: che ti fa sorridere? La famiglia? I tuoi amici? Dimmelo.
Hello, Friday. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. We've just heard your spoken word, which is in Italian, and I have so many questions about that. Why Italian? What is your connection with the Italian language?
So my connection with the Italian language is that I learned Italian in secondary school, and I have a lot of friends and family in Italy as well. So basically what happened as I was growing up was that whenever I needed Italian tuition or help with Italian, my dad would send me like over to Italy to go on like summer camps and whatnot and mix with the locals. So that's why I know Italian. And people think my Italian is kind of okay, but I don't think it's that good. The reason I wrote the piece in Italian was because I like to like poetry in English, and you know, like I write, as you can see, that's like a sonic piece. It's not just a spoken word, but it's like spoken word over a piece of music. So I was going through this phase of where I was challenging myself in all possible ways. I just had this notion of like, okay, I can write things in English, that's just like too easy. So I ended up writing the piece in Italian, and I was like, okay, maybe let's see if I can write something in Italian. And that's what came out of that kind of brainstorm. And then I ended up writing like a French piece as well, but the Italian piece was better than my French piece. So yeah, it was just me challenging myself because I just thought doing things in English was too easy. In secondary school, my teachers never taught that, they never really liked my essays or whatever, because, you know, like the structure of how you need to write an essay and all of that, I didn't feel like I was good at that. But through poetry, I have like sharpened my pen, be it a piece of poetry or be it a piece of if it's a short story or an article piece, it's all structured from the quotes that I just write because I'm always thinking, I'm always in my head thinking, and once I have that quote, the rest of it just kind of flows together, and it's just as good as the quote. But
please, will you tell me who has helped you exercise your voice?
the first person that influenced me to write would have been one of my primary school friends, because when I was in primary school, I wrote this poem, and this girl thought that, oh, you know, like the way girls are so much way more supportive than guys. So I wrote this piece, and she was like, oh, like you really have like a good pen, like you write really well. And at this time, as I'm saying, the same way I wasn't good at writing pieces in secondary school, it is the same way I wasn't good at writing pieces in primary school. So when she said that, I was like, oh wow, like maybe I do have something. So because the journey, like I'm almost going to be 30, and when I was in primary school, I was like very shy and timid, and it was kind of hard for me to like write pieces and like share it. Like the way I used to write pieces back then, I write something, put it on a note, and I just like give it to my friend and like run away. And then by the end, they'll like come back after the ready, be like, "Oh, that's good." I'll be like, I'll grab the note off there. I'll be like, "Oh, thank you." So that's the way I kind of handle that in my pre-pubescent stage. And then when I was in secondary school, then that's like the music and poetry, like, you know, like rhythm and poetry, which is just rap. That's when I just wanted to like write pieces over, because I had friends that were musicians, like, you know, Naomi very well. Her son was like, he is one of my favorite writers in Ireland. No, his pen is pretty like, he's really good at writing, you know, like he's very, very, when he takes his time, he's very good at writing. And I've always had this thing of like, oh, whenever I write something, I want him to be like, oh, that's cool, or that's good, like, you know. And I think I'm getting the kudos from him today, so which I'm kind of chuffed about. That I started going to college, so music and poetry and writing pieces were kind of took the back seat, you know, like I was still like in my self-discovery phase, like, you know. So my best friend's mom, Kathy Peters, she always, because we go to the same church, whenever I speak in church, she would tell me like, oh, you know, whenever you speak, like, you know, when I'm public speaking, it flows better when I don't write it. If I just have my bullet points and I read the bullet points, I just kind of navigate the emotion, or like when I'm public speaking. But she was the one that kind of pushed me to be like, no, you speak well, you need to get out in public and talk in front of people more. And, you know, and I was just so like, I don't know if people want to hear me and all shy and all that.
It's incredible what inspires you. It's incredible that you have a very loving support system around you so that you can express how you feel, and that's just invaluable. And if I may say so, as a mother to a young boy, I want him to have mentors like you. So thank you for being you, and yay, thank you.
And no, thank you for having me, and virtual hug.
Yeah. Okay, thank you so much, Friday Junior. Osemwekhae. No, damn it! How do we say Friday Junior? Osemwekhae.
Yeah.
Yes, that's it. Thank you so much for coming to Many Tongues of Cork. Bye.
Thank you. Namaste.
Namaste.
Hello, Nelly. How are you?
I'm doing good. Nice to see you. Beautiful smile.
Yours too, sweetheart. Yours too. Yes. Welcome to Many Tongues of Cork digital
Thank you for
broadcast.
having me.
Yeah, we're making the most of what life is throwing at us at the moment, aren't we all?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Nelly, without any delay, let's straight get into you telling us, sharing, listening to your poem, which
All
is
right.
in French.
And you're the only one that can make me write in French.
I don't make you do anything. I just say, please.
Get on the head. All right. So it's called Ma fin est ton début. Il suffit d'un murmure, d'un regard insistant, caché sous un chapeau, d'une prière chuchotée à l'oreille d'un sourd, un sourire chaleureux à vous faire froid dans le dos. Écoute, les fondations d'un cœur qui craque sous le poids d'un monde qui s'écroule, nos regrets qui bouillonnent et qui grondent, au-delà de l'assourdissant silence, des rêves à portée de main qui s'effritent et s'effondrent. Silhouette qui s'éloigne d'un pas décidé, si tu m'entends encore, déleste-toi du poids des erreurs du passé. Des décombres renaîtront toujours, des chansons qui te donneront la force d'avancer.
Thank you. Thank you. I understood everything.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
Yeah. What inspired you to write the poem?
Okay, I think it's, I realized with my son getting into the teenage years, and all the angst and all the difficulties of going from being a kid to trying to become somebody that you don't know who you want to be yet. And I think I realized that when they're little, they are part of your story, and then they grow up and they start writing their own stories. They're starting their own book, and you're just like a character that's still there to kind of help, but you're not the main character anymore. And I think that's kind of like what it is. I'm not sure if it's expressed through the words that way, but that's where it comes from. I wouldn't want to be a teenager right now and then. Honestly, dear Lord, no way, no way. It was hard enough like 30 years ago, Yeah, so that's what it is.
Yeah. I would like to be a teenager knowing what I know now. Then I'd like to be a teenager.
Yeah. Yeah, no, definitely.
I want to ask you, you've been living here for quite a while, and do you have a sense of belonging here?
Not yet. Not yet. I think it takes time. I think the older you are and the more times it takes, because so when you're older, you know who you want to be with. When you're young, you kind of like take whatever, because being alone, it's like the worst fear ever. When you get older, you kind of enjoy your own company, so maybe you don't try as hard as when you're young. But that's my own thing. I'm not a very extroverted person, so yeah, I'm content in my own things with my books and my Netflix and my own stuff. So yeah.
Was there anything that you believed very strongly which has changed in the recent past owing to what's going on around us and the fact that you're an introvert?
If I have people around me, I'm happy. I'm glad for the company. But if I don't miss it. I realized with the lockdown that it was nice actually to not go out without having to find an excuse. I thought that was really nice actually, not having that social pressure maybe, But then you have to be careful also not to be content with yourself too much, so it's like finding a balance, because then, like the less you go out and the harder it is to go back out, So yeah, I think let's say that I believed I needed
people to exist maybe, and I realize I do not. No, I think I recenter myself on like, what do I really want? What do I really like? And so that, the beginning of the lockdown was like, oh my God, and then as it went, it was like, oh, okay, and that's cool, I can do my own things, and so that's great.
Do you think you'll be able to
Yeah,
sustain this feeling?
I think so, because it's not scary anymore. It's like when you think you cannot do something and then you do it and you're like, I did it. That was cool. So now that's fine. I think it's, and I think maybe that's when I will get a better sense of belonging, because when you're really yourself, then you attract people that really match who you are. So then you belong, I think. Ask me again in a year if I'll be like all alone, crying in my house. Oh my God, where are the people? So but for now, that's how it is.
No, I don't think it'll come to that. We don't need to be this dramatic. I mean, we're recognizing the fact that, there are people who feel alone, and it's very hard for that. And it's good that you're talking about it, because it just reminds us even, strongly that we need to look out for each other despite all the distance. And that comes back to the sense of belonging in a culture, in a society where we're all struggling to, to express our individuality, and also then to be together and accept each other the way we are, whether it's personality or whether it's culture. So thank you for that message. Thank you
for having me.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, salam, konnichiwa, namaskar. My name is Joanna Dukipati, and this is the Many Tongues of Cork gathering, featuring prose and poetry in different languages. So far, we've heard Portuguese, German, French, and Italian. We have a couple more writers for you. Before we hear from Fatou and Julie Gu, I'd like to say thank you to Letícia, Rosalin, Friday, Nelly, Fatou, and to Julie, whose personal thoughts and ideas help enrich our reflection of the world we live in. I will borrow a few words from Cork-based writer via Australia, Shiva R. Joyce. Shiva's essays appear in A Journey Called Home, the anthology by 62 writers in 20 different languages, all from Cork. So, from the piece Selkie, I have picked a short paragraph, owing to the short time we have. Lights shone and moved me from my musings. It was impossible not to sigh loudly in relief as the warmth inside the bus enveloped me. The sigh was also enough to invite a discussion from my seat partner about the miserable turn the weather had taken this evening. Nattering away about this passed the journey in pleasant mental numbness. Ireland was great for teaching you that misery had layers. New depths could always be found. The relief of kind human contact, superficial or not, was a balm for whatever went wrong next. Next up is Fatou Barry, who will be presenting in French. It's extremely exciting because this is Fatou's first time at Many Tongues of Cork. And we're even more excited because Fatou has many feathers to her hat. One of the main things that she does is to empower her fellow multilingual professionals to apply for work and to do work that they really want. So, here we go. Hello, Fatou.
Hello, Jo. How are you?
I'm very well. Fatou Barry. Is Fatou is it similar to the name Fatima?
Yes, exactly. Same origin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not a poet or essayist by...
Not at all.
No, yeah.
No. I like writing.
Yes.
Writing. But
so thank
yeah.
you. You've written something small for us in French, and I'm very excited. So we'll go straight into it, Fatou.
Okay.
And then we'll have a short chat.
Perfect. Okay, so the title is D'où je viens. D'où viens-tu, Fatou? Simple question, réponse multiple. Veux-tu savoir où je suis née, où je suis basée, d'où vient ma couleur de peau, où je paie mes impôts, ou où mon cœur se trouve? J'ai trouvé ma solution. Si tu me poses la question en Irlande, je réponds de Cork. Si tu me poses la question à Cork, je te réponds de France. Si tu me poses la question en France, je te réponds de Châteaudun, ma ville natale. Et si tu me demandes d'où je viens vraiment, je te réponds de Guinée.
The end. How do we say fini? Fini?
C'est la fin. C'est fini.
C'est fini. Yeah. Wow. What is your hope for the migrant population living in Cork? What is your hope and aspirations for them? For us, all of us.
I'd love that they feel like home in multiple places. You know, the question where's the place that you call home? I like the fact that you can absolutely give multiple answers and you don't have to pick. But for that, you need to feel that you're, you know, I guess you need to feel at home, and it's just not an internal feeling. It's also how people react to you being there. So I'd like for people to be comfortable to say, yeah, Ireland is my home, but I have also a home there, and that no one feels weird about saying it, or, you know, very confidently. Yeah, this would be my hope.
Oh,
I hope it makes sense.
No, it does make sense to always feel welcome and to have a place, a sense of belonging, no matter where we go. That is the eternal quest. So yeah, thank you so much, Fatou.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.
Was it hard to write that?
No, not hard, but okay. I needed to find my inspiration, and there were multiple ideas. So yeah, I went with that, and I'm glad it resonated with you. So
yay! Thank you so much, and have a lovely day. Love you. Bye.
Bye bye. Kisses.
That was Fatou Berry. Now, it is the final performance for this afternoon, and we've got Julie Goo, slam poetry champion of Munster, Cork's very own, you guys. She's a rock star, that's all I'm going to say. And I hope you enjoy this final performance, and I'm not going to keep you waiting any further. Hello, Julie Goo. How are you?
I'm good, thank you, Jo. And yourself?
I'm well. Welcome to Many Tongues of Cork, Julie.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So, Julie, shall we just straight go into poetry, and then we'll have a nice chat? Okay.
Lovely. Okay, so the poems I'm going to read have been written as Gaeilge, they're written in the Irish language. On Prose. Séans an Prose atá foulam, an fuisih, an false, an spree, an pean, an town, an luach, an cúis. Fáilte róh, chuig mo Prose's parsanta. Fág the ego ag a doras, crop the kraken an buca, fáilvig the folky, chumad the rooney the grind, beg up on teagain, on sucker, riv, on stirren. So that's my first piece. The next piece I'm going to read is called Aonad, which means unit in English, and it's a term, maybe not a very nice term, to describe a space, a place within a school, a primary school or secondary school, where special education occurs, so the education of predominantly kids with ASD, autistic spectrum disorder. Aonad. Tá sé tóca le Batman agus Toy Story 3. Rá ábalta na mion san rí a phlé, na frásí a rán san las chuí. Namely in a dish, an duine sinne sa chlán, ní léamh aige ná scríomh, agus buachal cliste tá an. aithníonn go bhfuil scileanna le huaireachta ag drafóracha óga nómhfuil aige. Cuireann sé seo isteach air, léimid ar a aigé. Tuismitheoirí den scoth déanta do chrá agus faine, fós ag fannacht ar gléoch telefón ón HSE. Idir an dáling ag strachel go léthú le héanach ar an múl. Ní mór dom é a léamh, ní mór dom é a scríamh, sé an post atá gom nó aithne chur ar a báiste, sfíor chumarsáide a chathú ad ring. Nuair a bhíonn sé dom a bhuala, ruúla bhuala an a ghuala, ag éirí é héanach ar tú, é héana loch tú. Dorchad is Gotham City, ag slugga an ranga, san éad speisialta. A ahir is a bháthir, site os mo chóir amach ar chathíir go bheoga, cótaí fós orfa, ag líne isteach na barní, plean a chocrú, ceannas a bhánú, lán de grá agus faine, fós ag fannacht ar gléoch telefón on HSE. So next up, it's called Deedin, which is the Irish word for accommodation. It's self-explanatory, really, it's short. Deedin. Dína gurma fi glas, san óstán bón, paint ó chrimma ag an lé chearú, bound brain on nuchta. That's obviously we take under our provision in this country. The next poem is called Éileh, which means demand, and it was written only a few months ago. Tá George Floyd Marv, dún bharaithe tafada, Tá Minnesota trí hinne, dóite, tréachta, fuil an phobal ag brúachta ag silla, chorus Fellini lufa ag infléasca ag loba, Tá Trump ar Twitter ag lasa cogig agus grána. So I thought I'd finish on a positive note, and this poem is entitled Bui, which is the Irish word for the colour yellow, but it also means gratitude, which is kind of nice. Bui. Cusa ar an talamh, sucker, slán, buíocht farsanta, am luach chur, sonna, somasach, stoppachar ar smútí, údar an bheoing, solas solásach, sus uatain, machna vachlachta, sail, spirit, spás a chrathú, an atain, sásta, sperglan, ag fás is ag flursú. So Sinead, Joel, that's it.
Sinead, yeah, wow. I'm just processing all of the feelings that you're trying to describe, and I kind of got a tear in my eyes. So you've written this. You're in the middle of writing an anthology. Isn't that what you said?
Yeah, my first Irish language collection. Yeah.
Wow. And when did you start?
I'd say about 20 years ago.
No, this particular one.
Yeah.
Yeah? Wow.
Some of the poems that will be included in it were written 20 years ago, you know.
Like which one?
Oh, not the ones that I've read today.
Oh, okay. The ones you read today then?
They're relatively new, bar the one about teaching.
Yeah.
A fabulous little boy. I wrote that when I was teaching that boy about 5 years ago. All of the others are relatively new. But, yeah, so I'm only ready to put together a collection now, really.
Yeah.
There's no pushing it or rushing it.
No.
So the time is now.
Wow. Yeah. When do you think you'll be ready for everybody else to read it, and will you publish it all out?
Yeah, I'm hoping to kind of have it in my hands definitely early next year.
Wow.
It's pretty much written. It's just for me, it's the painful process of editing and putting it all together. And that's the bit that doesn't come easily to me. So I'm checking in somewhere next weekend to tear into it for 48 hours, getting away from everyone and everything. And I can't wait. That's the plan.
I want to ask you, based on what you shared today, if you could tell us about someone from your community who makes you feel very proud to call this place home.
Who makes me proud for this to be my home, is it?
Yes.
I suppose my daughter, really, to be honest, to be typical. Well, she's 13, and yeah, where we live, she's really, like, she's very sporty, obsessed with sport. And I can just see through her how being involved in local sport really helps you get connected to the community. You know, she's admired by lots of people because she works so hard at it, and she's got some really solid friendships through it. And, you know, we go for a walk and she says hello to people that I hardly know. There's parents recognize her, different people. So she's got a deeper foundation in this community than I do, you know, because I kind of float around and do my own thing. But I suppose it's just shown me the importance of not necessarily sport, but any kind of local goings on that you might have some interest in. You know, I suppose like the arts is different because, like, we live in Glanmire right now, and the arts is different. It's all kind of bits and pieces here and there. There's no real arts community here. So I never felt really connected to the place. Do you know what I mean? So it's nice to see it through her eyes and see how it probably feels more like home for her than me, if I'm making any sense. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Is there a particular memory of having a strong sense of connection in the place that you live?
Like, I'll be honest, I moved here when I was a teenager, and I didn't go to school here. I kind of left as soon as I was old enough, so I don't have a huge, sadly, I don't really have a huge raw for where I am for now. And we are moving slowly closer to the city, hopefully soon. And that's where I'm from originally, and that's where the arts is for me. So I know I'm drawn towards that. But I'll be honest, you know, talking of gratitude and that, during lockdown, I did have a newfound love for this area I'm in, because we discovered some beautiful walks. You know, I was here 20 years and I never went on those walks. And you know what? It's a very safe place to be. So, you know, I think I've taken that for granted maybe for a long time, to feel so safe here, you know, and free, you know, to kind of live my life the way I want to. So just that sense of safety, I suppose, is very, very important.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Julie, for your time and for being you, and yeah, for everything. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Joe, and thanks for the
Yes.
wonderful work you do.
Oh, stop. Thank you. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
And that's a wrap. I sincerely hope that you enjoyed our first Many Tongues of Cork broadcast of 2020. And please share it and discuss about it, about the languages, about the messages each of the contributors had for all of us. And if you could support Good Day Cork in the smallest way possible, either by sharing this broadcast or sending us a small donation, we'd be extremely, extremely, extremely sincerely grateful. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great afternoon, a great weekend. Please stay safe. Take care.